everybody, and welcome back to another Ospreys Gaming video. And I know all the viewers in this are going to be new, so let's just cut to the chase. What are my thoughts on The Apprentice 2022? Well, I have mentioned in a live stream, barely, none of you will probably have picked up on this, and it's not one watches my live streams, but I talked about The Apprentice and how I watch it. Yes, I'm an active viewer of the British Apprentice series, which is currently going on, and I have been viewing the Apprentice series for years now. So, what are my thoughts on this year? Well, my specific thoughts on this year will be shown in this video, as I literally just said. I'm going to be going in depth about each candidate, I guess, but mainly about each task, and I just want to accurately convey my views on it because I don't know, I think this video could get some form of views. I've been going on a good view streak recently, so that's good. Anyway, so let's just start with task one. Task one was the cruise one, where they had to advertise a new cruise line. So, and I'll just start with the girls' team because this was basically the first one that was kind of shown mainly in the first task. But they had Catherine as their PM, who I thought was a relatively decent PM in this. She kind of got off with me on the wrong foot because I wasn't the biggest fan of Bougie Cruises. I mean, it's not a bad name, it's just probably not the best, and obviously the concerns over it I thought were valid. Overall, yeah, I thought that week they all did quite well. One thing I particularly thought, though, was about Amy in that week and how okay, spoiler alert, yeah, she got fired this week, in week 6, but basically, I thought that she would have been fired for weak leadership or something, because I could just see that coming up again as being a problem. And then there was also Shama, who didn't really prove herself in this task specifically, but I know, yeah, Smaller, she left in week 3. I thought she was gonna, I thought she was gonna do really well, because she seemed to be like the only single one of them who didn't have an ego. Obviously, I think some of them are less egotistical now. At the beginning, they were all quite different to what they are now. But I guess maybe that's just because I didn't know them well. But anyway, onto the boys' team. Yeah, very, very concerning. Actually's management wasn't good. Yeah, quite frankly, it wasn't good. I did think Akeem would be fired that week for the logo, but he wasn't, and I was shocked that Harry was fired. But in hindsight, honestly, at the time I was against Harry being fired, but now I think about it, yeah, he probably deserved it, because if he hadn't been fired that week, he definitely would have been fired in up-and-coming weeks, because it would have been, the same problems with him, and kind of what happened with Navid, no smoke without fire, according to Alan Sure. So, obviously, you've got that, and yeah, Harry definitely would have been fired later on if he hadn't been fired there. He definitely wouldn't have got very far, either way. But yeah, I thought his picks from the boardroom were valid. Actually, his picks for the boardroom in that episode were valid. Okay, now we're on to week 2. This was the one about the toothbrush and dentists and whatnot, and the app. I'll start with the girls again this week because they won. I'm just going to go into the winning team first, and then I'm going to talk about the losing team. That's just the recurring theme. So basically, what happened with them was Francesca kind of just easily took the lead, and I wanted Shama to be the PM, to be honest, but with the credentials that Francesca had, I mean, to be fair, yeah, and she probably would have been Shama would have been a solid PM, but at the same time, yeah, I think Francesca did handle it well, and she was definitely the reason they got a lot of sales. Karen herself actually said that, but in the boardroom, but overall, yeah. The tooth, though, I'm surprised that tooth in their app wasn't brought up more, because I just looked at it and I was like, isn't this an app for children? How on earth are they not going to be scared by that? Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, there weren't any children which actually tested out the app that well. I mean, I guess there were, but not really that much. Nobody really talked about that, so I was a bit concerned. Anyway, onto the boys' team. Yeah, I mean, this task was a little less one-sided than the last, in my opinion. I thought it would have been quite close. I unironically thought it would have been close. No, it was not close. Honestly, I think Aaron bringing Nick back into the final boardroom was just kind of came out of nowhere, because I don't think Nick did do nothing. I think Nick was actually helping a lot of the time. It wasn't the most active person in there. I thought for sure he probably would have brought back Navid. In case you're wondering, yes, Navid is my ironic enjoyment character, and Aaron's my unironic enjoyment character. But essentially, Nick definitely didn't deserve to be fired that week. Luckily, he wasn't fired. And yeah, I guess Aaron could have the blame being put on him. My grammar's awful. But I don't know. I'm quite happy he stayed. I mean, he is my favorite. He is my favorite one right now. So yeah, in hindsight, yeah, I probably would have picked Connors to be fired as well. So on to week 3. I'll start with Team Diverse. Vodify. I mean, I've not tasted Vodify for obvious reasons, but it. Yeah, they seem to do well. I mean, I guess it was quite chaotic in the drinks making section. But apart from that, yeah, I guess the branding went well, and everything. I thought it was a good design. And overall, yeah, they were able to get the most sales by 5-1. And then there was, of course, Infinity. Navid did not deserve to be fired. I think Navid should have been given like one more chance, and probably told to be PM like Nick was. Sophie should have been fired that week. Easily, Sophie. Akshay, I don't really see. I thought Akshay would be fired, but he wasn't, and instead we had to deal with Navid being fired, and that's very sad. Hashtag justice for Navid. But basically, I was quite sad Sophie wasn't fired because she definitely contributed to the loss of. She barely made any sales, as well as Amy. Amy definitely should have been brought back into the final boardroom instead of Akshay, probably. And if I'm talking, I'm saying Sophie through final boardroom, but Amy should have been. Well, no, it's kind of hard between Sophie and Amy, but I probably would have ended up picking Sophie, to be fair, because it was her area of expertise, and she still lost. And then, yeah, anyway, week 4. Week 4 was the fishing week. This week I was sure Akshay would be fired. Again, but I keep thinking Akshay would be fired, but he wasn't, which kind of concerned me. Like, I'm pretty sure Akshay has this amazing business plan or something, because otherwise he would be fired just like straight away. But yeah. Back to the actual task. So Diverse did well in this task. They were able to get good sales. I mean, I know the fishing didn't go that well at first, but Francesca helped with that. Francesca kind of seemed like the one who I thought would win, but then she got fired week 5. Sorry, spoilers alert. But yeah, they did well that week. And then, of course, Infinity, they had Alex over. I feel so bad for Alex, because he was literally... The only reason he got picked to be on that team was because he was on the other side. He was on the wrong side, so he was picked to be there. He went as PM because Amy just forces everyone into the PM role. And then he gets fired. So that's very sad on your part. That week, I don't know who should have been fired. Yeah, honestly, Alex should have been fired that week, but I want Amy fired no matter what. Amy should be fired just anyway. Luckily that happened in episode 6. So anyway, episode 5. They split the teams up, and I'm just going to talk about Infinity because they won this task. Infinity did quite well this time. Obviously, there were concerns. I mean, Harpreet's pitch was fairly questionable. The game itself, I thought the game was quite good. I mean, obviously, it literally had no plot or anything, as far as I'm aware, and it was literally just people running around, just whacking police officers. Which I don't know. Is that a question in society or something, especially considering the circumstances. But anyway, no, I thought the game was quite good. And then, of course, there was the other one. To be fair, yes, I do think that Infinity should have won, but I did kind of prefer the game with Diverse, because they're basically, it was the branding that let them down, right? That was the main part. The branding did let them down. Obviously, there were concerns with the game, but the fact that penguins are in the Antarctic and not the Arctic, I don't see that as a reason for the game being bad. Just because the name is Arctic Savior, Arctic, not Arctic. Thank you, Francesca, for getting the spelling awfully there. But Yeah, it doesn't have to be specifically Arctic. You know, the penguins are still in danger. Just because they're in the Antarctic doesn't make it any worse. Um, but yeah, of course, Francesca got fired this week. My thoughts on Francesca being fired? Um, Honestly, yes, but maybe that's just me being fueled by my bias towards Aaron winning. Uh, but because I thought Francesca would win, and now it's a clearer pathway for Aaron to win. Anyway, week 6, most recent episode as of now, came out 2 days ago. Basically, in this, Amy, absolute PM dodger, but we'll get back to that because I'm going to talk about Diverse. Diverse won this task. Basically, Stephanie was actually able to do quite a good job as the PM this time. Akshay and Sophie actually did rather well with their sales. There was, of course, Nick being so bad it's good, in the words of Karen. With the pitch, no, honestly. It's kind of like Cool Cat Saves the Kids. That might be the first time I've mentioned Cool Cat Saves the Kids in a YouTube video. I'm going to do like a YTP of that, or a reactionary video where I just watch Cool Cat fights coronavirus for the 800th time, but actually record it this time. But we'll get back to that. So, yeah, week 6, obviously, that was diverse. Then we got Infinity. Aaron, trying to make peaceful sales with people. Amy, Foghorn go burr. No, seriously though. Amy was kind of just ruining all of Aaron's sales at the beginning. That wasn't very good of you, Amy. Yeah, you definitely should have been fired. I don't know. I sort of warmed up to Catherine this week. I didn't really like her much at first, but now I think she's a good candidate now. And when she was almost fired, when she was almost fired, I was sad because I thought that she would be. But no, Amy was fired, and I went hallelujah. Because Amy did deserve to be fired on this task. I mean, that's just a fact. That's not opinionated. Definitely not opinionated because of my not wanting either Aaron or Catherine out. No, definitely not. But yeah, really, that's the end of my video. I really hope you all enjoyed. Please subscribe for more content because I am trying to push out more content. I know none of you here are gonna keep watching my channel, and you've probably skipped. You probably stopped the video before watching this point, but I don't care. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you all in the next video if you stick around. Goodbye.